All right, everybody, Hafaday. Hello, I'm Jason Salas, and you are watching KUM News Extra on YouTube, on Facebook, and on KUM TV8. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, because on the KUM couch, I have a civil servant of Guam, a civil engineer, actually, and a very, very proud Guamanian, now dedicating his time, at least in part because he is a man of many talents and very, very busy, Willy Flores, working on the Manenggon Memorial Foundation. Willy, always a pleasure. Good to see you. Hafaday.
Hey, Hafaday. Thanks for having us.
All right, happy Liberation to you and your family, first of all.
Same to you. Yeah, thank you.
And
Thanks
of
to
course,
everybody.
Yeah, and a major part of Liberation now is we as Guamanians, we learn to reflect and we learn to say thank you, Insidus Maasi, and also remember the sacrifices that were made at Manenggon. And that is a very big part, as I said, of what you're working on.
Yeah, I mean, Manenggon is, I always say that what happened at the end of the World War is the last thing that the Chamorros did as a people. It was the last thing. After that, everybody kind of went their way, and but as a monumental occasion, that was the last thing we did. Fena, Manenggon, Faja, Tinta, all those places, we were all joined by one particular circumstance, if you want to call it, or one particular event, or a series of events. Yeah, so it's really deep and important in our people's history.
And it is a part in our island's heritage and everything that the young people have to know. So when the annual ceremony and it's become such a big touch point of the Liberation festivities, but how do you make sure that that message is passed down to young people just growing up and they actually know exactly what went on?
Well, we try to do a lot of public outreach. Right now, I'm very happy because we have the Manenggon Marianas club up at UOG, and they're helping us get the word out, and they're involved with this thing. And I see a new generation of people that are going to carry this forward, because it doesn't matter who you are on Guam. It doesn't matter where you came from. You were either directly touched, as you and I are, by what happened at Manenggon, or you know somebody, or you're connected with someone who is directly touched. So it doesn't matter. Every single person on Guam has some connection to Manenggon, whether it be direct or indirect.
Realistically, that wasn't that long ago. It's only, 2 generations removed from when the effects or the events at Manenggon took place?
Yeah, 2 generations removed. I mean,
my grandmother's people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, folks my age. I mean, I'm the generation right after, but folks my age, we grew up around hand grenades all over the place and bullets all over the place. So the memories of the war and the pain of the war in our elders, as they talked about it or refused to talk about it, that was so evident for me growing up, and that's kind of what's driving me.
Now, would you consider, again, when we're passing the lessons and the history down to young people, would you say that was one of the darker moments in Guam history, or do we actually frame it and say, this is a sacrifice that our people made so that we can continue to live the lives that we lead now? Or how do you actually get that message across?
Well, I think it's one of the darker moments we were subjected to, but in dark moments we also have stories of courage and stories of enlightenment. And so in that dark moment, the Chamorro people could have surrendered and given up and all that, but they held together. And so they created out of that dark moment a very bright and enlightening and hope-filled moment, life for us. And so that's the way we present that.
Yeah, these are heroes for the Chamorro people.
They sure are. I mean, these are people who were slapped, beaten, refused to tell, refused to reveal where others were, for their protection. I mean, these are our heroes.
How many people approximately were affected?
Well, at the time of the war, there were close to, I believe, around 22,000 people affected, and
which is astonishing.
It is. It's amazing. And at Manenggon itself, at the concentration camp, we know that there were at least 15,000. We don't have the correct number, but we know that there were at least 15,000 down there, and that's an astonishing number. Can you imagine 15,000 people being put into this valley, between 2 rivers, separated by a hill? Some of them didn't even know that their family members were on the other side dying or suffering, but they were all there.
Yeah, like some people say, at an event like a mixed martial arts event that's held up at UOG, and they said, when the field house is at capacity, that's what, 4,200 people?
Yeah.
Multiply that by 3 and then add a couple more.
Add a couple more.
And that's Manenggon.
Yeah. And then you multiply, you and I, we plan family events, we participate in family events, and we know how hard it is to feed people and to make sure people are okay. Can you imagine just picking everything up? You're picking your kids, your family, the old folks, we got to go, no food, no nothing, just the clothes on your back, let's go, because we go or we die.
Okay. So. Well, the annual ceremony and the memorial is always such a moving, touching event. But with this year being the 75th anniversary of Liberation and everything, do you guys have anything extra special planned or anything like? Yeah, I don't want to say outside of the norm because it's always. Yeah. But you do the same events to make sure that we honor the lives that were lost.
Yes, we do the same events. We do have some very special events planned. Of course. We have some very special things to honor the survivors that are there. We have a special guest speaker who is a war survivor herself. Her story will be told because she's not able to get up and tell it, but her story will be told by one of her daughters, and I can't release that because it's a surprise. You got to come down. But
sure.
But
ever the salesman, Willie.
of course, yeah. And then we have, of course, we're building, the Calaguac and Tizan up in Barrigada, where a lot of things happened up there when they were building the airfield. We're building a monument there. We're going to unveil that. Down in Hagat, we're building a monument down there. We're going to unveil that. In Manguilo, a lot of people don't know a lot of places get thrown about, the names get thrown about the events, but in the different villages. But in Manguilo, a lot of people don't know that this is where thousands of people came through. And the Japanese said, you go to Manenggon, you go to Asinan, you go back down to Pigo, you come here, you're going to die. And it was the significance of Manguilo is that's where our people gathered as a people, and then we're told to go to these different places. So we're building a monument in Manguilo to signify that. And then on top of that all, we are putting a time capsule that will close out the Liberation Day events this year, and we will close that time capsule on August 10th. So we've got a lot of great stuff going. We're bringing a lot of I want to call them souvenirs and mementos of honor for our survivors, which we'll be providing them. They're not big, but they're small token, and there's just no way we can, there's just no way we can repay these folks, and there's just no way we can completely honor them, but we'll try our best. We'll keep plugging.
Well, I think continuing to keep their memories alive and continue to remember them,
yes,
as well as their descendants,
sure.
is probably the very best that we can do. But
sure.
But because this is, again, we can't underscore this point enough. But because this is the 75th anniversary of liberation,
right.
There's going to be a lot of people coming from all over the world to come back because they want to celebrate.
Yes.
They want to reconnect with their roots, and
yeah.
Some people may not even realize how close of a connection they have to the events of Manenggon. So
yeah.
For those people, are you trying to actively reach out and network with them? And how can they get in touch with you if they're watching this right now?
If they're watching us, I'm not a social media person, but we have a lot of good social media people working with us. Manenggon's on Facebook. Contact us through Facebook. Or you can call us right now at the governor's office. The governor's office will know how to get a hold of us. Or you can call us through any of the mayors. The mayors will know how to get a hold of us. But we're putting out the word on Facebook and on social media, and we're putting that blitz out so people can. And we will be putting out announcements as well between now and then. We're starting to put those together. So.
Well, Willie, I've always known you as one of the hardest working men on Guam, and certainly this is a very noble pursuit. So thank you from all us Guamanians for what you're doing to keep our history alive.
Yeah, and Hamdamas KUM for keeping the word alive, and you too, because a lot of people don't realize what your connections are at Manenggon, but they're deep and they're many. Yeah.
My Nana always made sure we knew.
Yeah.
She always told us. Well, thank you. Sizas Masi, Willie.
Hagamas, Sizas
All
Masi.
right. And please stay tuned because we are back right after this.
The next generation Galaxy has arrived. See it and believe it. The Infinity O display is the most innovative Galaxy screen yet. Capture the wider world. Take stunning photos with the 123-degree field of vision. Use your phone to charge other wireless charging devices. Don't just stand out.